published 1108 Est, the 15th of December 2017, updated 1213 Est, the 15th of December 2017. In another historic achievement for spaceflight, Elon Musk's Spacex has successfully launched a recycled rocket and spacecraft for the first time. After a series of delays, the firm's commercial resupply services 13 CRS-13 mission to the International Space Station finally blasted off from the Cape Canaveral launch pad in Florida just before 11 a.m. ET on Friday. The flight-proven Dragon capsule, sitting atop a reused Falcon 9 rocket, is towing roughly 4,800 pounds of cargo and material to the ISS, including barley for Budweiser's beer-brewing experiments. Scroll down for video. In another historic achievement for spaceflight, Elon Musk's SpaceX has successfully launched a recycled rocket and spacecraft for the first time. After a series of delays, the firm's CRS-13 mission finally blasted off from the Cape Canaveral launch pad on Friday. SpaceX launched this week reflew both the flight-proven orbital rocket and spacecraft for the first time. The unmanned Falcon originally flew in June, with the firm's 11th resupply mission for the ISS, and the Dragon capsule made a space station shipment in 2015 in support of the 6th cargo mission. This time, the Dragon capsule will be towing nearly 5,000 pounds of supplies to the ISS, including a barley experiment for Budweiser. With nearly perfect weather, CRS-13 took off on time at Cape Canaveral this morning, lifting off at around 10:35 a.m. ET 7:35 a.m. PST. Stunning footage of the launch shows the moment the first and second stage successfully detached, sending Dragon on its way to the ISS, and the first stage back toward Earth. Once again, the firm's Falcon 9 first stage managed to land itself back on the launch pad, touching down gently to mark its second successful trip to and from space, with just a 6-month turnaround. For the Dragon capsule, the journey isn't over just yet. After deploying from the second stage, which occurred at about 10 minutes into the trip, the Dragon capsule will complete a series of burns over the next 3,672 hours, bringing it closer to the International Space Station. Then, it will be grabbed by the ISS's robotic arm, and berthed, meaning it will be pulled into the space station. The flight-proven Dragon capsule, sitting atop a reused Falcon 9 rocket, is towing roughly 4,800 pounds of cargo and material to the ISS, including barley for Budweiser's beer-brewing experiments. On Tuesday, SpaceX revealed it had decided to push its launch of a recycled rocket and spacecraft back another few days, after detecting particles in part of the fuel system. The flight was originally scheduled for Friday, December 8, but faced multiple delays as engineers worked to ready the pad and payload, and conduct some last-minute tests, taking additional time for the team to conduct inspection and cleanings due to detection of particles in second-stage fuel system. SpaceX tweeted, now targeting CRS-13 launch from SLC-40 on December 15. Once again, the firm's Falcon 9 first stage managed to land itself back on the launch pad, touching down gently to mark its second successful trip to and from space. Next launch opportunity would be no earlier than late December. Elon Musk revealed the details on the ambitious plan just last week. Over the last few days, however, the firm indicated that there were still a few loose ends to wrap up before takeoff. On Monday, SpaceX said it had pushed back the launch a second time, moving it from Tuesday to Wednesday. It was first scheduled for the previous Friday. After roughly 3 days adjusting its position and moving closer to the ISS, the Dragon capsule will be grabbed by the space station's robotic arm, and berthed, meaning it will be pulled into the space station. For the Dragon capsule, the journey isn't over just yet. After deploying from the second stage, which occurred at about 10 minutes into the trip, the Dragon capsule will complete a series of burns over the next 3,672 hours, bringing it closer to the International Space Station. Their mission launched both a recycled rocket and spacecraft for the first time, now targeting December 13 for launch of CRS-13 from SLC-40 to allow for additional time for pre-launch ground system checks, SpaceX tweeted on Monday. The resupply mission will bring nearly 5,000 pounds of supplies to the International Space Station. This includes barley seeds for experiments backed by Budweiser, to help determine the feasibility of brewing beer on Mars. It's been less than a year since SpaceX made history for sending its first recycled Falcon 9 rocket back into space. In the time since, the firm has successfully completed 2 more flights using reused boosters, and even launched a recycled Dragon capsule to the International Space Station for the first time. This week's launch aims to take things a step further by combining the two for the first time. In a post on Instagram last week, the SpaceX boss shared a series of images from the previous flights. In a post shared on Instagram, the SpaceX CEO revealed the upcoming launch will fly both a previously used orbital rocket and spacecraft for the first time. On Twitter, SpaceX revealed the launch will involve a flight-proven Falcon 9 first stage that launched during the 11th resupply mission for NASA, and a Dragon that flew in the 6th cargo resupply. SpaceX decided to push its launch of a recycled rocket and spacecraft back another few days, after detecting particles in part of the fuel system. The flight was originally scheduled for Friday, December 8, but was delayed 3 times. The Dragon capsule has previously been used to bring supplies to the International Space Station. SpaceX's Dragon is the only supply ship that is able to return items to Earth, as it's built to withstand re-entry. The firm elaborated on Musk's plans in a post on Twitter. Rocket and spacecraft for CRS-13 are flight-proven, SpaceX tweeted. Falcon 9's first stage previously launched SpaceX's 11th resupply mission for at NASA, and Dragon flew to the Space Station in support of our 6th cargo resupply mission. The Dragon capsule has been used to bring supplies to the International Space Station. SpaceX's Dragon is the only supply ship that is able to return items to Earth, as it's built to withstand re-entry. Following the successful launch of the first reused rocket in March, Musk revealed he'd already set his eye on a far more ambitious goal: reflight within 24 hours. The firm has carried out a number of flights this year, a handful of which involved flight-proven rockets. But SpaceX has seen its fair share of mess-ups too. In September, Musk shared a hilarious blooper reel of SpaceX's failed booster landings. The video covers everything from exploding rockets and engine sensor failures to a sticky throttle valve. SpaceX made history in March when it achieved the first ever reuse of an orbital-class booster, which CEO Elon Musk had deemed a huge revolution for spaceflight. Reusable rockets would cut costs and waste in the space industry, which currently loses millions of dollars in jettisoned machinery after each launch. Russia, Japan and the European Space Agency are developing similar technology and are in testing stages. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon.com and owner of the Washington Post newspaper, said in February that his private space firm, Blue Origin, expects to begin crewed test flights of the New Shepard, the company's flagship rocket, next year and begin flying paying passengers. As early as 2018, the Indian Space Agency also hopes to develop its own frugal shuttle, as it seeks to cash in on a huge and lucrative demand from other countries to send up their satellites, after a successful test launch in February. SpaceX posted the video on YouTube, with the title "How Not to Land an Orbital Rocket Booster." The firm suffered a famously catastrophic explosion in September 2016 when a Falcon 9 exploded on the launch pad, taking with it Facebook's $200 million internet satellite. And in November, one of the company's Merlin engines exploded during a qualification test. Over the course of this year, however, the firm has seen a number of successes. The firm has completed 16 launches in 2017 alone.